Developing a game that you love can be both a blessing and a curse, since it is easy to forget that you're actually working on a product that you have to finish and publish. It can be so much fun playing around with mechanics and imagining possibilities that it is easy to lose track of progress and priorities. It is almost as if you're playing a sandbox game where you just entertain yourself for a little bit, but then you quit playing and move on. This very thing happened to me, and today I want to share with you the progress of my yet-to-be-named game, the Wizard School Simulator, and I also want to tell you how I, after some radio silence, managed to be more productive in a couple of days than I had been in a couple of months. In late 2021, I started working on a voxel engine game. And just a quick recap for any viewers new to the project, a voxel engine is what a game like Minecraft uses for managing the cubes in the world. It is truly a great feature for any game that wants to give the player the ability to manipulate the world. This led me to the idea of using the voxel engine and turn it into a game where the player is a wizard and able to manipulate the world with all kinds of interesting and unique spells. I quickly threw in some sprites and a character controller to get a feel for what the game could become. And then it clicked. This game would be a wizard school simulator, where the player goes to classes to learn new spells, and then gets to use those spells to interact with the world in a sandboxy manner. After messing around with the art style a bit, I felt it was time to show my new project to the world, and that's when I launched the first devlog of this game. The response was very positive, and people started asking about the project both in the YouTube comments and via email. This gave me the confidence that this project was worth pursuing, so I moved forward. In the next couple of months, I would tweak the art style a lot and improve the performance of the voxel engine, and I would tweak the way the characters were rendered in the game. I also started experimenting with some new features like hidden passages through walls and adding some more spells, though this is where my progress started to derail a bit. Like I said before, when working on a game you love, it is easy to get lost in the fun of experimentation. And in my case, making spells was a fun way to spend some time. But without a good overview of the progress and the end goal, it would eventually get boring, and the feeling of fun quickly disappeared. Having been hit by this feeling, I needed to lay the project aside for a little bit. Having to step away from a project isn't anything unusual for my game development process. When working on a game, I tend to get hyper-focused on some aspect, and then I lose the feel for the overall product. When this happens, taking a break to let the inspiration hit me again is usually the way to go. Not many people know this, but this also happened to me during the development of my first game, Head Wizard. This short platformer with only 19 levels took me about 9 months to make, and most of the time was spent figuring out exactly how the head mechanics should work. I won't go into too much detail about the game in this video, but it's safe to say that the entire game as it is now was made probably in the last month of development. All the time leading up to it was a messy trial and error, where I would often feel lost and wondering if I would even be able to finish the game at all. The games I made after Head Wizard were no different in terms of the game development process. With each game I would have some time where I would be stuck figuring out the direction of the game. Still, it nearly always ended up working out, and I would have a finished game to show for it. This same process of getting stuck and needing to take a break is what happened halfway through this year, and I realized after a little bit that I just had to stop working on the game for a while and wait until I had a clear vision for the game again. This brings us to late 2022. At some point, all of a sudden inspiration struck. I had a clear vision for the Wizard School Simulator again, and I had a clear view of what I needed to do next. You see, the thing that hindered my progress was not actually implementing the core features that would contribute to a Wizard School Simulator. And all I had to do in order to make this game was focus on those core mechanics. The funny part is that most of the required features aren't even that hard to implement, but they will add a lot to the overall experience nonetheless. And after realizing this, I quickly set up bare-bones versions of the most important mechanics. Keep in mind, the features I'm about to show you are not in any way polished yet, but the game is already starting to feel more and more like an actual wizard school. The first thing that should be possible when going to a wizard school is actually being able to enter the school building. So I gave the doors a bounding box and some extra settings. When the player touches one of these doors, the game checks which scene should be loaded, and the game checks at which door the player should be placed in that scene. This gives the illusion that the doors can actually be entered. At the moment there's no animation for entering the door yet. This is something that I will do later in the polishing stage. The next mechanic for the wizard school was being able to follow classes. Classes will be the main way to unlock and improve spells in the game, and for now I made one class that the player can attend. The class I implemented is a simple minigame where you have to levitate a feather between 2 points. If you go outside these 2 points, your grade will decline, but staying inside these points will improve your grade. There is also a timer, and when the timer runs out, the grade you have at that point is the grade you get for the class. Completing the class doesn't unlock anything yet, but I can put unlockables behind the grades in the future. The third thing I implemented was the day schedule. Every 4 seconds in the real world, 1 minute passes in the game, and the day is divided into multiple parts, each of which have their own time slot, where they start and end, and the schedule also determines if a class is currently available or not. I also added a day and night cycle, and this might sound like polishing, but this actually is an important mechanic because it helps the player recognize which part of the day it is. Especially nighttime will be important in the future since the player will have to return to the dorm when the day ends, though the dorm isn't implemented yet. So with these couple of features implemented, the game already starts to feel more like a wizard school simulator. And moving forward, my plan is to focus on the absolute most important features first. Then I will polish those features and make a short demo for the game. This demo will be a vertical slice of the game, with the purpose of being a small showcase of what the finished game will be like. This demo will also be a perfect tool for me to gather feedback from everyone who is interested in the game. I am not entirely sure when I will have this demo ready, or when the next devlog will be, though I am considering using YouTube Shorts to keep you posted about the game in the future, because making devlogs like this usually takes a couple of days, let alone developing the features that are being shown in the devlog. In the meantime, if you have any questions about the game or ideas, feel free to ask or tell me anything in the comments, and you can also directly message me on my Discord. For now, I want to thank you very much for watching, and till next time.